Hello, my name is Jazeem. I'm the Horticultural Crops Agronomist with Agriculture Canada. I work at CSIDC. I work with mainly horticultural crops. This year we have been working with potatoes and several other vegetables. We look at new crops, and all of these crops and research is from Agriculture Canada and Saskatchewan Ministry of Agriculture. The most of the crops that we grow are irrigated crops, vegetables, so that we could make some money. First of all, I would like to talk about potatoes, where we have been doing potatoes for the last 30 years of research. Mainly claim to fame from the center is developing the concept of northern vigor in seed potatoes. So that is based on that we have done a lot of potato research. What you see here is some of the variety trials. The Agriculture Canada breeding program breeds a lot of potato varieties, and these varieties here we are testing the new ones that could be grown well in our environment. So this is one part of the national variety trial. So we look at French fries, chipping, table, and seed for these potato crops, and we will be looking at developing some of the agronomy on later dates once we come up with some good varieties. In our vegetable program, we are looking at several things. How to grow higher value vegetables in Saskatchewan, and how we could grow it sustainably. As we know, higher value vegetables are all warm season crops, and we are looking at several this time. And what you see here is sweet potato. It's a new crop which requires heat. So one of the important factors, or at least advantage of climate change for us, is that we will probably get warmer days, longer growing seasons, and more carbon dioxide in our environment, so that we can grow these warm season late maturing crops without any problems, because we have irrigation to look after the moisture stress conditions. So what we are looking at, we have several crops: sweet potatoes, bok choy, kale, spinach, beans. So we are looking at the different scenarios, how to grow them sustainably. So we have two varieties. So we are looking at, but the challenge is going to be how can we get them to grow for a longer period. So we are looking at growing them open and high tunnels, mini tunnels, and floating row covers, so which try to get some warmth, temperature to the crop. So this is the first year we are growing, and of course the looking good, but we will the proof of the pudding will be in the fall when we see the roots growing. This is growing 6 varieties of bok choy in the open and also in the high tunnel, because we want to see how they perform in the high tunnel. Medicinal properties. This is one variety, which this is the leaves are eaten and the stems are eaten. Another part of this project is kale. Kale, it is not a new crop for us, and it is reputed for its healthy health conditions and nature. So we are trying different varieties of kale. Look at the red kales and the standard kales. Look at the yield and its quality and its storability and the nutrition part of it. Also, we are growing kale outdoors and also under high tunnel to see how the growth happens. So one part of a project is looking at climate change. So climate change, as I mentioned, is warmer temperatures, moisture stress, and longer growing season. So what in the high tunnel we are imposing what we might see with climate change. And the high tunnel have way better growth, and here look at even see the sweet potatoes in the field. They were only about a foot or 6 inches long. Now here we can see all the they are growing. The vines are growing, and it is doing very well. And so you can see the depending on the variety and the growth differences. So we do definitely see high tunnels is a better place for sweet potatoes than outside so far. So our idea is to how can we get the sweet potatoes to grow in the field, because growing in the high tunnel is going to be expensive, but in the field how we can manage our agronomy so that we can provide the sufficient heat so that we can grow crops like this. So we are keeping our fingers crossed, and we will hopefully get a good yield in that one. That is what we are looking at, growing beans at the high tunnel. That is under the expected climate change situation, and also we have a similar beans growing outside. Look at how they compare. So we could see, I think these beans are growing very well. I think looking at the yields, this is yellow beans, these are green beans, and it is so look at it. This is a very good quality beans, and which is nice and straight, and is good for processing. This for fresh market too. And so what happens is when there is moisture stress, the pods tend to curl up. That is one of the symptoms of moisture stress, and also some of the varieties too. Now I can show you with some of the varieties. In this one here we can see some curved pods which could be of a moisture stress situation. So we can see these little gadgets that are jutting out. They are measuring soil moisture, soil temperature, and we are even monitoring air temperature and also the light situation, so that we can relate the yield to the climatic variables. We are comparing growing the crop in the open field and under the high tunnel. Growth under the high tunnel was more vigorous and way better than what we see here. So these are high value crops, and they are new crops, high value crops that could fit into our irrigation expansion exercise very well.